So today we're multiplying and dividing fractions. We're going to review a little bit of the vocabulary. A fraction is a part of a whole. So the example that we have is 1/2. Equivalent fractions, when we were talking about this a minute ago and somebody said equivalent is equal. So these are fractions that look differently but have the same value. In our example, they have 1/4 and 4/16. How do you go from the 1 to the 4? Multiply by 4. And how about from the 4 to the 16? Same thing. So those are equivalent. You can also tell that it's equivalent because you can say 4/16, and can I simplify that? What can I simplify it by? By 4. So if I divide by 4, I get 1/4. So we can see that they are equivalent. The other definition we are reviewing is an improper fraction. An improper fraction has a numerator that's bigger or higher than the denominator. So the number at the top is bigger than the number at the bottom. An example is 9/4. Mixed fractions. They contain whole numbers and a fraction. So here we have an example. We have a whole number of 2, and the fraction is 2/5. So 2 and 2/5 is a mixed fraction. This word is one we saw last year, reciprocal. Does anyone remember what reciprocal is?
It's like switching the denominator and the
Numerator?
and the numerator, yeah.
You're flipping it around. So this word comes back. A reciprocal, if you take the value and multiply by the fraction, it yields 1. So if you take the fraction and the reciprocal, they're going to equal 1, but it's exactly, the reciprocal is found by flipping a fraction over. If I have a whole number here like 2, but I want to write it as a fraction, what does that equal? 2/1. Anytime you have a whole number, it's over 1. So here's my fraction. What would be the reciprocal of 2/1? 1/2. All we did was flip it around. The word is going to be important as we start solving a few of these problems. So as we continue with your notes, this is just a review from yesterday and from last year. When you multiply or divide two numbers and their signs are the same, the answer is positive. And if the signs are different, it's going to be negative. So this is just a little bit of information. What you'll see in your notes is you have one column that says that we'll do to get, oh, this is still on the front, so we'll get to that in a second. So let's look at this. Multiplying and dividing fractions. We have a few steps. When we multiply fractions, we simply multiply the numerators and the denominator. So you're just multiplying across. You're going to multiply numerator, numerator, times the denominator, denominator. So the top times the top, and the bottom times the bottom. So step one is for multiplying. Here, you can see that they've done the work. I'm just going to rewrite it so I can talk about it. They have 2/3 times negative 4/5. Is my answer positive or negative?
Negative.
So I'm going to write that first. Then I'm just multiplying across the top. So 2 times 4.
8.
3 times 5, 15. Can I simplify it?
No.
Nope. So we are done. That is our answer. Negative 8/15. When we divide fractions, we're going to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So here's the problem as originally stated. Negative 5/6 divided by negative 2/3. We cannot divide, we must multiply by the reciprocal. So you can see here that they rewrote it. It's negative 5/6 Instead of dividing, we are multiplying. What's the reciprocal of negative 2/3?
3/2.
3/2, so it's going to be 3 over 2, and it was negative already. Now that I'm ready to multiply, is my answer positive or negative? It is positive, and now I'm just going to multiply. 15 times 3, I'm sorry, 5 times 3, 6 times 2, 12. So my answer is 15 over 12. What kind of fraction is this?
Improper.
Improper. So I need to change it. 15 over 12 really means 15 divided by 12. Some of you have to do this in your head. If you cannot, please divide it out. How many times can 15 go into 12? 1 cannot go, 12 cannot go into 1. But what about 15 divided by 12? 1. We're going to take our remainder, bring it up, and my denominator is the 12. So my answer is 1 and 3, 12. Can it still be simplified? By what? I could simplify this by 3. So 1 and 1, 4. Questions? This problem had a lot of simplifying and I like to simplify at the beginning. I feel like the numbers become smaller and they're easier to work with. Let me show you what I mean. All I'm going to do is rewrite the multiplication problem. Negative 5 over 6 times negative 3 over 2. It is the same problem, but now I'm going to simplify at the beginning. I'm going to cross simplify if possible. So I always look at the numbers that are across from one another to see if I could cross simplify. So for example, I look at the 5 and the 2. Can those be simplified? Can I divide 5 and 2 by anything? No. So I'm kind of stuck with that one. So now I'm going to look at my other numbers, the 6 and the 3. Can those be simplified? What can I simplify those by? 3. I could divide those by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is, it becomes a 1. 6 divided by 3. Now I'm ready just to multiply. We know it's a positive answer. 5 times 1 is 5. And now at the bottom I just have 2 times 2, 4. Bless you. So what is 5 over 4 equal? It's 1. It's the same answer we got, but in this one I simplified at the beginning. This step 3, this step is really important, and we'll see it here in just a bit. If we have a mixed number, that means a whole number with a fraction, we're going to have to make it improper. Because you know how we multiply the top times the top and the bottom times the bottom? Well, if you have a real big number, you have to make it improper. We're going to apply our multiplication and division rules. And as always, when you're working with fractions, we always simplify. So on the next page, you have 3 columns. The first column is our class book that we'll do together. It's called the We Do. The column in the middle, you'll work with a partner, or you can work by yourself if you prefer. And then the last column says you should be able to do this by yourself. So after we solve these, I'll let y'all move to a different desk if you like and work out the problems with a partner. But let's go ahead and start with the first one. This one is a multiplication problem. In this first problem, is my answer positive or negative? It is going to be negative. I'm going to go ahead and write it. I'm rewriting the problem just so I could see it a little bit better. I'm going to try to cross simplify. So I'm looking at the numbers that are across from one another. For example, I'm looking, my highlighter won't come on, but I'm looking at the 3 and the 9. Can 3 and 9 be simplified? So I'm looking at these two. What can I simplify 3 and 9 by? By 3. Now we're all kind of trouble. So if we divide this by 3, 3 divided by 3 becomes a 1, and 9 divided by 3, a 3. Now I'm going to look the other way at these two numbers here. The 4 and the 2, what can they be simplified by? 2. So the 2 becomes a 1, and the 4? A 2. Now I'm just ready to multiply. When I multiply across, I'm going to erase this divide by 2 and just move it down a little bit. So my answer, when I multiply the new, is going to be negative. 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 1, 6. And that can no longer be simplified, so that is our answer. Any questions? Our next problem is multiplying, but we have these mixed numbers. What should I do? We need to make it an improper fraction. On these, a negative times a negative, my answer is going to be positive. So some of you all learned this from last year. 3 3/4. Y'all said y'all do Texas. So if you need a refresher and you need to make this proper, 4 times 3 is 12 plus 3. So this is 15 over 4. The next one that we have is 2 and 3/5. Again, y'all called it Texas last year. What would this equal? very good. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 3 is 13 over 5. So this problem I'm really rewriting. Negative 15 over 4 times negative 13 over 5. We know our answer is going to be a positive answer, but again, I don't want to multiply these really big numbers. I don't know 15 times 3 off the top of my head, so I'm going to try to cross simplify. If I'm looking to cross simplify, I'm going to look first at the 15 and the 5. Can they be simplified by anything? By what? By what? 5. 15 and 5 could be simplified by 5. Let me see if I can get the marker to work. So the 15 becomes a, and the 5, a 1. Now I'm going to look at the other numbers, 13 and 4. Can they be simplified? No. Nah. So I'm just ready to multiply. When I multiply across, 3 times 13. 39. And 4 times 1 is 4. Again, we have an improper fraction. So we're going to have to divide it. Some of us could do it in our head. 39 divided by 4. And if you cannot, you could always write it out. I know 3 cannot be divided by 4. How about 39? 9. 9 minus 6 is 3. So this really equals 9 and 3/4. If you want to make sure that you done this right, you could do Texas here, and then you go back. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 3 is 39 over 4. You know, you solved it correctly. Our last problem that we're doing as a class is a short word problem. Any volunteers to read it? Go ahead.
Choose a team of a class of 30 students are wearing red green t-shirts today. How many students is that?
So in this problem, we're looking for 2 15ths of 30. What does that mean? Subtract, multiply, or divide? Multiply. So I'm going to rewrite 2 15ths times
30 over 1.
30 over 1. I have to write it as a fraction. All whole numbers are over 1. If I cross simplify the 2 and the 1, does that work? There's nothing, that's already a 1. How about the 15 and the 30?
You can divide that by 2. No, 15.
I can divide it by 15. So this becomes a 1. And you're right, this becomes a 2. Now I'm just ready to multiply. What do you get?
4.
Over?
1. What's 4?
Very good. So the answer is 4 students. Any questions? So what I'd like for you to do is if you want to find a partner or if you want to work by yourself, you could do that.